what you want, what you want.
You're listening to The War Report, a wrestling and relationships podcast with your host, Vince Barry. The War Report is brought to you by TagMeADate.com, where wrestling night is date night. Sign up now, and your first month is free. All right, everybody, we are live on a Tuesday night, if you will, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, October 20th, 2015. Another edition of the War Report brought to you by TagMeADate.com, and I don't know what happened, but we're missing a few people tonight.
We are.
I know Stu. Stu apparently touches himself too much because he had to go check out like his shoulder or his elbow, like wear and tear. I don't know what it was, but he said he had to go to the doctor, something about his arm. So hopefully he's working that out. But
Well,
I don't know what
he did pee in front of us, so
he did pee on the air. That was rude.
he was here yesterday, and he was wearing some sort of brace on his elbow. So he definitely is having some issue with it. So we'll get an update and see what it is. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's gonna be like, this frickin' shoulder, and I'm just gonna die. And whatever. I just know he's gonna be like, on my frickin' elbow in the doctor. And I'm just like, oh, I'm waiting. I can't wait.
Well, who knows? Maybe he'll get back in time to jump on before the end of the show.
Oh, one can only hope. What happened to Ryan? Doesn't Ryan typed up the lineup and then couldn't make the show?
The intern needed the night off.
That's absolutely fine.
He needed the night off, but he still did his due diligence and got us a rap sheet. So,
Wow.
But yeah, he's taking the night off this.
It's kind of intern you want.
Yeah.
Still works.
Still gets the job done. Good old Ryan.
Yeah, man. He definitely did. Are we gonna do the top 5, the Hell in a Cell ones too today, even though they're not here? Or are we gonna wait maybe to do that?
I think maybe we should hold off on that until everyone's here.
Because maybe we'll have
got enough to talk about.
We might have a new favorite after Sunday. We might have we have 2 more Hell in a Cell matches. Yeah, like one of them could be really good.
That's very true.
Oh, that's right. There is 2 of them.
I don't know which one though. Neither of them. What is it? Is it the title match in a Hell in a Cell? Or is the title match just a title match?
No, that's just I think it's Brock Taker and
Reigns. Wyatt. Yeah. We'll get into it. We'll go around the room once. So, Eric, how are you today, sir?
I'm all right. Nobody worry about me. Thought I'd give you a little Kenny Loggins there.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, that reminds me of The Office. It's like, put on some Kenny Loggins. Oh, Loggins and Messina? Did I say Messina? And he just drive. And how about the big cheese over here? How are you today?
I'm doing great. Big things happening with Tag Me a Date, so I'm really excited. We got Jasmine St. Clair, right? I mean, we got some good shit going on. We got Jasmine St. Clair, ECW icon, TV personality, as the face of Tag Me a Date through the fall. So we're very excited. We're honored to be a part of Chairshot Reality, Justin LeBar and the crew, their 300th episode, which happens to fall around Survivor Series, and we're sponsoring and helping get Noelle Foley and her boyfriend Frank the Clown in studio.
Yo, that guy outkicked his coverage like a motherfucker. Can we just talk about that for 1 second? Good job, but you dress like a clown and go to wrestling shows, and you found one of very few hot women that will actually be into that.
And the daughter of a fucking legend.
Also,
you know.
Let's not put out, forget the pedigree here. Holy poop! Like I said, he outkicked
that kid
his
has given hope to everybody who's a wrestling fan.
Right?
You know,
he absolutely should. I think he should be the face of Tag Me a Date, because if that motherfucker can get somebody, anybody can.
Well, I'm now working to
That's
do
great. I don't
more
mean to talk
with
down to
both
Frank.
Noelle
He's a funny
and
guy, but you know what I mean.
Well, I'm actually now that we're doing this and we're part of it. We're going to try and see about doing some more with the both of them. So we're hopeful with what's going on, and we got a ton of events coming up. We're going to WrestleCade in North Carolina. We're going to have Rebel and others at our table, which is going to be huge. Eric's going to be there. That's
the one on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh man, if it was not Thanksgiving weekend, I would be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be huge. They sold out the event. So we're teaming up with Gimmick Tree Entertainment, so we're very excited. And then we're also teaming up with Gimmick Tree for the big event in New York and Queens. We're going to have a table right near Shawn Michaels. And we have, along with Gimmick Tree, about 10 people coming, including Bill Apter, Vince Russo. The list goes on and on. Jimmy Hart, which... we have some other things working possibly with the Mouth of the South. So we have a lot going on. I'm very excited. Location searching is up, and we got even more to come. So we're pumped. We're doing well.
Jimmy Hart is like that 24/7, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know. I am very aware.
I love it.
He's going to be at WrestleCade too. It's going to be awesome.
WrestleCade, that's right. You're going to be at WrestleCade.
Last year's WrestleCade drew about 3,000 people, so I think they'll probably do it again.
Yeah.
Well, it's officially sold out. They sold 3,000 tickets.
Damn.
Nice.
That's a done deal. So we're excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic news, man. But should we? I mean, I'll shoot the shit with you guys the whole night. But do we want to do a 5?
Well, I think just to hear the fucking music, we should do 5.
We should do the 5.
At the very least.
Steve, don't you dare be sour. Feel the power of the Friedman 5.
Put your hands together.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
And you're going to get a 5, Jeff. Do you hear that? You're going to get a 5 pound.
3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. Just give me more time to keep your ass alive.
All right.
I just love watching Vince rock out to it every week.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I mean, the New Day theme is good now, but I mean, that was up there with like Mark Henry. Whoa, hey, whoa, hey.
Somebody gonna get their ass kicked.
Yo, when they did that live on SmackDown, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
3-6 Mafia.
3-6 Mafia. I like those guys. They were in the Jackass number 2, I think. They're fun.
Yeah, I believe you're right, actually.
Yeah, so this is our Friedman 5, our 5 topics of the week. We played our sound effect. One of our resident Jews, Eric Friedman, has curated this list, and he's going to read it off for us. Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we do have Raw, obviously, and that's pretty much always a given. And we got the Austin Lesnar podcast from last night as well.
That's right.
Rumors abound about certain people, such as Tyler Breeze, about to possibly make his main roster debut.
I heard that as well.
Have a theory on that, by the way. Continue.
Okay. Excellent. There's rumors circulating around Shane McMahon. I think it's more so to do with a DVD coming out.
Yeah.
Than an actual return, but either way, that'd be awesome.
I have actually heard that there is talks of Shane McMahon in 2016 making a return. And let me just say this. That fucking story is already written.
Oh, yeah.
The writers don't have to do a fucking thing. Shane McMahon comes back to take the company from Triple H and Stephanie, and we get the McMahon Wars again, and it's going to be fucking money.
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 Right? Oh, my God.
Awful. Well, that ended up being Trump's theme song.
Yes, it did. It did.
And I'm okay with that, too.
$1 giveaway theme song.
Yes, it was the $1 million giveaway theme song.
Before that thing fell on McMahon.
Paul!
Now, when you're talking about money, this is the money.
I love that song. Okay, that's up there. We have to do theme songs because honestly, that may be not my number one.
It's up there, though.
Strangely enough, one of my top ones back in the day was Jimmy Hart's ripoff of Cowboy by Kid Rock for
Yes, that was a good one.
It sounded just like
he did
Cowboy.
do a ripoff of a Cowboy for Jarrett probably, right?
Yeah, it was
I'll tell you
Jared,
right now, two of my all-time favorite theme songs are always and forever going to be The Ultimate Warrior, because when his music came on, you got fucking pumped up. The Ultimate Warrior and Bret Hart. His music always got me fired up too. I mean, Austin, the list goes on. Undertaker, like, I've loved every rendition of Undertaker's music. The only one I didn't like was last year. The one where it was horrible. I forget what it was called.
The Johnny Cash one?
Yeah.
When he Ain't No Grave? The one where he like...
I hated that.
It was him against... was that Shawn again? No. It was Triple H the first time? Yeah, I think it was Triple H the first time because... Not the first time, the second time. Because the first time was early on. But it wasn't the Hell in a Cell. It was the one before that.
Mania 27.
Yeah, because he came out to Johnny Cash, and then Triple H came out to Metallica, but then stopped Metallica and started playing Motorhead.
But you know
because he can do that.
But you know what the greatest part about their Hell in a Cell match was? The Cell got its own theme that night.
That was the best thing ever when they gave the Cell its own song. What would have been even better is if the song was Leave the Memories Alone. No?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to leave their memories alone? Don't change a thing.
I've always liked the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers theme.
Oh, the Rougeau, from Montreal to Memphis?
And they had the little... And even then, I knew that I understood, even as an 8-year-old kid, I understood the sarcasm with the little American flags. I loved it.
Yeah, that's great. The French lyrics in there, if anybody spoke French, was that they talked when the English lyrics were very complimentary of the U.S., and then the French lyrics that they would sing were actually derogatory towards the U.S.
But yet, all they like to listen to is Barry Manilow.
There you go. Oh.
And Slick. You gotta love Slick's music.
Yes.
Jive Soul Bro.
Jive Soul Bro.
Yeah.
How about American Males? American Males.
That drove me nuts.
That a little bit less.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so what should we get into first?
Danger, high voltage.
Chronic.
Oh, my God, the Chronic music.
High Times was their finisher.
Yes. Neither of them, I think, smoked weed. I don't know if the reference was largely lost on people because they weren't like potheads or anything, you know what I mean? They just looked like two big dudes. You know, but they had the
potheads got it.
Right. The stoners. It was like was it Major Stash?
Yeah, wasn't that like Brad Armstrong or something?
That was
No, he was Buzzkill.
No, it was Van Hammer. Yeah. Van Hammer, and this was the funny thing. I know this has been told on 1,000 fucking podcasts by now, but it's the funniest shit ever. He was actually in the military at one point, so when they were going to nickname him Private Stash, because that's a better joke.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Private's too low of a rank. And it's like, really? Okay. So then they had to call him Major Stash. Okay.
Corporal Cajun.
Yeah, right. Corporal Cajun. I loved Lash LaRue. Lash LaRue, he did the L thing.
Lieutenant Loco.
Lash LaRue, did he have, what was it? It was some kind of motion and he did the L's. If that's a guy I would love to talk to, Lash LaRue.
He had those L mutton chops?
Yep, the L mutton chops. Somebody should bring those back.
And then Tylene Buck was Major Guns. Everybody loved her.
Major Guns.
Was that before or after she was with Scott Steiner? I don't remember.
I don't remember. Was she the same one? They didn't have her play Asia, right? Remember, that was weird.
No, that was a
different.
more manly woman.
But wasn't that strange? Remember the whole Asia thing? That was just not. Not right.
That boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. Dang it, Bobby. What do we talk about first?
I think we should just jump right into Raw.
Yeah.
All right. Jump right into Raw, starting with Stone Cold? I mean, we started out Raw with Stone Cold. Jesus Christ.
Well, listen, if you're going to compete with the Giant game,
Yep.
the best way to do it is bring out the big guns first. And it just kind of reminds you how much you miss Austin. He didn't even do anything. He came out, he talked for 2 minutes, and you didn't see him again until the podcast, and it was
another game.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see him. It was a great way to kick off Raw. The whole segment was good with Brock and The Undertaker. I thought it was a good. I think with Raw this week they did a really good job booking the show. They spaced everything out appropriately. Like they had Austin kick off the show with Taker and Brock, and then the second hour was kicked off with Shawn Michaels, with a Ric Flair segment in the back. So, I think in those respects, it was booked really well. The show flowed very well. Overall, I thought it was actually a pretty good Raw. Sasha Banks, they're going to turn soon. They have to.
Babyface?
They have to. Because no matter what she says or does, the crowd's going to...
Yeah, she can do no wrong, so...
Yeah, she's so over, it's ridiculous. And that's in a good way. I love Sasha Banks. Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent Raw. Kane was suspended, which is just funny. The whole storyline's funny.
Well, if Kane loses the match this Sunday, he's out of his job as, whatever.
The other disappointing thing, I don't know, if you caught this, but Dean Ambrose is not on the pay-per-view at all now.
Yeah, and that sucks. But I think he's in line for push coming forward.
Here's the thing they're saying: with Orton injured, are they going to pull the trigger on him facing Cena for the Open Challenge?
Maybe he'll answer the challenge. That'd be awesome.
That's definitely a strong possibility and a great way to get him on the pay-per-view. However, that would be an excellent way to bring Tyler Breeze onto the scene.
Yes, that was the other thing I was going to mention. That
like the Carlito thing?
Carlito won, right? Yeah. I don't know that Tyler. Well, I guess you can't have Tyler. Well, listen, I guess he would. Yeah. Exactly a Carlito thing, because Cena's taking time off after Hell in the Cell, so he's going to drop the title anyway.
Unless John Cena loses his smile on Monday Night Raw. That's always the option.
And the difference is that Tyler is not going to hire his modeling agent to stab Cena in a club.
Right. Although maybe they're going to insert him into this whole dumbass love triangle thing because he's supposed to be paired with Summer.
Right. I heard that
too. Somehow they've got to get... Well, I guess Summer's already uninvolved, like she broke up with...
There are rumors that she might be with him when he goes to him.
That would be the strategy. Here's the problem,
I personally don't think he needs anybody.
He doesn't, but she needs something to do. I hate to say it, but she needs something to do. She would be... I think
good together.
Right. I think she could add to the act if... And I think she's good at doing this. She needs to buy into it. A lot of times they do this thing where they pair up a girl or a manager with somebody that's not a good fit for them, like Cesaro and Paul Heyman, or Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman, and anybody not named Brock Lesnar and CM Punk with Paul Heyman. It just doesn't work. Some girls get paired with a guy and they just don't like it, and it shows on their face and shows in their personality. She came in and, bought into the stupid-ass Fandango thing, and it got over. Because if he came out with a dance partner, he's already not a very good dancer, but he took dance lessons. If he came out with somebody who didn't have the passion or the dancing ability or the ability to even just
like Eva Marie? Right. If you know about... it was on Total Divas, like the first season.
No, what was this?
Where
I
Eva
don't watch
Marie
Total Divas.
Trying to be Fandango's dancing partner.
Well,
and then Stephanie reamed her out because she had no dancing skills.
Eva Marie came out and said that she's a professional dancer. That she's one dance contest and that she'd be perfect for Fandango as a partner. So then they gave her a tryout on Raw, and she bombed. She doesn't know how to dance at all. So she got reamed out by Stephanie and was like, if you ever pull anything like that again, you won't have a job, that kind of thing.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
But yes, putting Eva Marie into Summer's place would change that whole Fandango thing when he first debuted. And I think if Summer puts the same effort into Tyler Breeze that she put into Fandango, it could work. Because I see this going like, if he can play essentially a smart Zoolander, he doesn't have to be dumb. He just has to be really vain.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because his character does not appear to be dumb at all.
Right. He's not like that why male models thing. You know what I mean? It's not.
And he does, Blue Steel all the time.
Yes, he does the Blue Steel, but he's like a thinking model, which they took a little twist on as well, which is good because I think if he just came up and was like, why is this building so small? Is it a school for ants? Like, it just wouldn't work. That would not be wouldn't be him. So I think she would be a good pairing if I hope they let him do his thing and she adds to it. She shouldn't talk for him or be, the forefront of the gimmick. I think he should be the forefront of the gimmick.
Agreed.
We'll see. Because
by the way,
Lana is the forefront of the gimmick when they're together, you know what I mean? So it's a different dynamic.
By the way, not to change the subject, but there is one thing about Raw we do have to address.
What's that?
So you did watch Raw?
I did not watch Raw. I read.
Okay, so Eric.
Sorry, I'm watching football.
What in the fuck was the WWE thinking the way they brought Eric Rowan back?
That was
Can you just explain briefly for those of us who watched?
So this is how it went down.
We're disappointed?
This is how it went down. So the Wyatts were going to have a three-way match, a six-man tag.
Yeah.
The Wyatts versus, in essence, the Shield.
Yeah.
So there was a promo done earlier where they all came out, and they don't make any mention of the fact that there's Eric Rowan standing with them with the fucking with the sheep mask on. And then after a few minutes, Michael Cole's like, hey, does anyone notice that Eric Rowan, it was just like, one of the things you always like about WWE is when somebody's gone, they make a return and they make an impact. It's a big surprise. They do a run-in. There's videos promoting the return.
Eric Rowan.
That was the most nonchalant return.
Just came out like he's been there the whole fucking time. It was just so bizarre.
I wish he was just waving and pointing to people in the crowd. He's like, thank you.
It was just so stupid. It just made no fucking sense to me.
No, I agree. It doesn't sound very good. I'm glad he's back with the group because I think he's not a strong enough of a character to carry that shit by himself. I think it's good that he's part of a stable of people because I think the Eric Rowan character is just, what is he? Bald guy with a beard who.
Regarding Luke Harper, just want to squash this. There were rumors that he was being punished for some bullshit picture with Jericho.
Did you see that picture? That was awesome.
That picture was hilarious.
But he had a personal matter or something. That's why he was not there.
Yeah.
I love that.
They have, and that they were all wearing the shirt and just they're all doing their thing. One of the Matadors was giving the middle finger, and somebody asked, why did one of the Matadors give the middle finger in this picture? And the response was, if you had dressed as a fucking Matador for 3 years, you'd give the finger too.
That's hilarious.
God. All right, so they teased reforming the Shield, and it did not really happen.
Well, I don't know that it was really a tease because, Rollins
specifically said this is not a Shield reunion. He made it clear, but him running out made it even, limping out, whatever. He left, made it even more clear. It was
also, if you really think about it, did he ever get his comeuppance from either of them? Really?
No.
That I feel like is something that should happen before they even think about reforming.
He curb stomped Dean Ambrose into cinder blocks, and then Dean Ambrose lost the next like 12 matches in a row to him. there was no
other stuff. So
yeah, Reigns has been doing other. So yeah, maybe he needs to have either a partner that he goes against them, or he goes against them kind of in a like a 3-man feud or something like that, where they can both. Oh, what about? Oh, we can't even do this anymore, can we? With that, you remember who was it? It was Kurt Angle, Benoit, and Jericho, 3-way for 2 titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16, the Eurocontinental title.
There you go. And who lost it? Angle lost both, or
Angle lost both by not getting pinned for either fall.
Right. Yeah.
They pinned each other for Angle's titles.
Oh my God. It's too bad they aren't lower on the card right now. They could do it for the U.S. Intercontinental Unified, whatever.
What about, that brings me to this. What about more than one person at a time challenging Cena for the open challenge, and they make it a triple threat, and one pins the other without Cena getting pinned?
Yeah, that's...
they could do that.
That's true. Or
and, knowing John Cena, he's not going to back down from 2 people.
Yeah, what if it's... Yeah, this would be, like, probably terrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. If it was Dean and Roman against Cena, and they did a double pin on Cena, so they both pinned him, and then they can't determine who the winner is, and then they have to do some kind of,
like
furthering of the feud.
Kane and Taker pinned Austin.
Yeah. And then they couldn't decide. Or the one time when Austin was a special referee, or no, The Rock was a special referee. 1, 2, it doesn't matter if I one time, what was the one time Stone Cold was a special ref and just
it was the one
everybody?
After that whole thing, and then Austin was the ref between Undertaker and Kane.
Yeah.
He counted both of them out, and he walked out with the title.
Yeah.
And then Vince declared it vacant, and then they had the Survivor Series Deadly Games tournament.
Deadly Games. Yes.
Brought to you by Karate. What was that? Karate
Masters?
No, that game that like.
Oh yeah. Was it a video game?
No, it was like a thing, kind of like little Sock'em Robots.
Yes, kind of and they twirled and they kicked people and shit. Yeah, those were cool.
Lawler used to, play with it against whoever.
Well, the worst one was when they had Hardee's or Arby's or somebody as a sponsor, and they gave Jerry Lawler like a milkshake and a big greasy hamburger, and I was like, put it down. He just had a heart attack. No.
What about Stacker 2? Remember the Stacker 2 commercials?
Oh my God!
Taz was talking about his pal Joey Numbers.
I haven't seen those commercials.
How about Ico Pro?
Ico Pro, yeah, let's go way back to the World Bodybuilding Federation.
The WBF, yeah.
What a disaster.
That was mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, you know what bothers me the most about that is they had Luger on their payroll for almost a year before even using him.
Yeah. He got into that motorcycle accident and broke his arm, right? That was the whole reason he couldn't.
Was that during his initial WWE debut and
because they were supposed to build the WBF around him, and then he got injured. There goes Steve, or not Steve. There goes Eric.
You're still lost Eric?
Yeah. He gone.
Real shit.
I was gonna drop some knowledge about Lex Luger and the WBF right now, but I'll wait till he gets back. That's too bad. So, anything else notable happen? Oh, here he is. Hey there, buddy.
We're just gonna act like that didn't happen.
All right. So they were planning to build the WBF around Lex Luger, and he got injured in that motorcycle accident. He had the whole plate gimmick. I believe I'm telling the story correctly. I could be 100% wrong, but I believe he was brought in to be the face of the WBF. He got that injury. They couldn't use him as a bodybuilder, so they turned it around and made it into a wrestler again. And instead, they went after this bodybuilder Gary Stridham, and he was the big name in bodybuilding at the time. And they actually. Something really, really interesting. I forget which episode it is, but if you go listen to the OSW Review podcast, They go through the whole history of the WBF in one of their podcasts really briefly, and it's fascinating. And there's an article. There are long articles about it out there. How Vince McMahon went to the biggest bodybuilding convention in the world under the guise of selling Ico Pro supplements, and then as soon as he got there and set up his vendor table, he like had a bunch of scantily clad women and like all these signs and shit about how he's starting up a new bodybuilding federation, and then immediately had like all of his people go around to the hotel rooms and slide contracts under the doors of all the bodybuilders. Like he did some shady shit back in the day to try and get the thing to happen. That was
just about right before the trial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was right before
the
steroid trial, and was also that sunk them too, because that was at the point where people they used to be okay with, I guess, bodybuilders being juiced and steroid out and all this shit. So around '94, when it started, all that in sports, it started to become illegal. They started to focus on natural bodybuilding, and they banned the steroids and they banned the substances, and they wanted people who could build real muscle and have real muscle tone and not just swollen steroid muscles. So that was another change, because all the guys that were in the WBF were obviously on steroids, and once that came down from like the national organization or whatever it is, it shrunk the pool of people who could compete if they got dinged for a violation, and it was a whole it was a whole mess. So then there's a really interesting article somewhere. I forget if it was Grantland or somebody like that. They made a really in-depth article that if you have the time to read, pretty awesome. Anyway, we started talking about Ico Pro and then got off on that tangent. What is the next of the 5? Let's get through these.
Well, I guess we'll get to the podcast.
Yes.
Which I think can lay to rest the rumors of Austin Lesnar at Mania. I think that's not going to happen.
I mean, if it was going to happen,
they would have done.
They would have started it at the podcast. I was actually expecting the podcast to end in a brawl.
I was expecting them to talk about it.
Yeah, it never even came up.
Right, because if it came up and they said, "Hey, there are rumors," and they're both there, and they could both say, "That's not gonna happen," but they didn't.
My favorite part was when Brock said, "Yeah, I gotta feed the Jew." When talking about Paul Heyman.
That was funny.
Oh, that poor man.
I thought Austin did a good job making Lesnar comfortable. And, their true friendship came out, which was cool.
Yeah, they shot the shit.
I thought it was a great podcast. I enjoyed it. I mean, you get to see a different side, but at the same time, like, a lot of what you see is what you get with Brock. Like, he truly doesn't like people. Like,
no, he's not a people person.
So I think it's pretty cool. I thought it was.
That's all right. People are assholes. So.
I mean, it's fine. I get it. Yeah, like you don't have to, be social butterfly. Obviously, this guy likes his privacy. He has a ranch with an 8-foot fence around it. Jesus Christ.
And I wish they would have gone a little more into it, but they did bring up when Austin left.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of.
And Austin's gripe, which I agree with. I mean, obviously, no one agrees with the way he went about it, but he did have a point where you want to build up something special like Austin versus Lesnar, not a throwaway qualifying match for the King of the Ring. What I think they should have done was had. Oh, but then Brock brought up something else. He's like, it might not have been. I mean, clearly Austin didn't react the way he should have, but maybe somebody on the other side didn't also.
That was what I like that implication. It was kind of a little, not a dig at anybody, but it was good to know that he was friends enough with Austin to go to bat for him a little bit there and say it wasn't entirely his fault.
Yeah,
which
and it didn't bother him.
It can't be, because here's the thing. With two personalities like Vince McMahon and Steve Austin, that's going to happen. That kind of stuff that exact kind of stuff is going to happen. So you can't completely be surprised that he walked off.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was booking like that year's King of the Ring, I would have actually had tension brewing between the two of them, but they're on opposite sides of the brackets, and then they end up in the finals, and Brock beats Austin in the finals to win the title shot against Brock at SummerSlam. And then they can have a rematch at the July pay-per-view or something like that.
Yeah, the point that Steve had, and I completely agree, was that was a money match. You don't put it on Raw, and probably like it was a 2-hour Raw. It's gonna show up at like 8:30, 8:45. Oh man, we're gonna tune in and watch that one.
Yeah, and it's different than the Goldberg Hogan thing on Nitro because that at least had like a week's build up.
Right, you had heard about it. It wasn't.
And
it
they
was
sold out the
announced.
Georgia Dome like
They did
real quick.
But again, it was what was it? It was announced. You can't just be like, we're gonna have King of the Ring qualifiers. By the way, 2 of our top guys are gonna fight in a job match for the qualifier. What was he just supposed to lose clean? Like, was that the finish? He was just supposed to lose clean to Brock?
Yeah, he was supposed to lose clean.
Oh, just kill his
again.
Okay.
People always accused Austin of not wanting the job to Brock. It's not about that.
Right. He would have put him over. He definitely would have put him over at the right time. Put him over at 8:45 on a Monday night in the middle of whatever month it was. No, it's a stupid decision. So I can see why he left or walked out or whatever, whatever phrase we want to use. Took his ball and went home. Hate that one.
But I do.
CM Punk took his ball and went home. Everybody says that shit. Oh, such a stupid thing as took your ball and went home. Well, he didn't have a ball. He just fucking left.
Well, what's worse, that or losing your smile? I
don't Sean, I don't know how he lives that down daily. I don't know how when he goes and gets Starbucks or like goes to a restaurant or is seen in public. How's your smile today, Sean? I would if I lived in his town, I would just every morning if I was his neighbor, hey buddy, how's the smile? Just mess with him a little bit. So podcast did seem like it was really. Brock said more, I think, than people kind of expected him to. He's a lot more comfortable in this kind of environment than trying to be a mean wrestling guy. He overthinks it.
Yeah, and he brought up the fact that he's not that promo guy. He really doesn't need to speak that much. Heyman speaks for him, but all his actions speak very loud, and that's totally true.
Sure.
I feel like Bret Hart is a guy that like his mic skills weren't the greatest, but his.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? You know that El Dandy's a real jam-up guy.
Mean Gene's like not having it. He's like, you're some bullshit artist.
Holy balls! You just love, freaking love. Watch Legends House. Watch Legends House on the network. It's the best show.
I love that. I wish they would do a season 2.
I wish they would. It was the best show that they. It's still the best show. That and Swerved, and that one's canceled too. But what else? What else was in our 5 here?
We could talk about
Hell in the Cell.
Yes, I mean that was the go home show, so it's
that was the go home show. So, what do we want to do? You want to do like a prediction thing? Everybody want to go around the room with their picks, or?
Yeah, let's do predictions.
All right, sure. Let's see. Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna get the thing up. Hell in a Cell 2015. Thank you. I didn't realize Shinedown. Cut the Cord by Shinedown is the theme here. All right, so we'll go from the bottom up. We'll just go around the room. We have our preliminary match on the WWE Network. The team of Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville against Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett in a 6-man shoot me now, get everybody on the card tag team match. Who wins?
That takes Ambrose off the card, by the way.
Right. It puts like 6 guys on and takes the guy that everybody wants to watch off.
Neville's team is gonna win.
I'm thinking the face team because the heel team won on Raw.
Right. That would make sense. I mean, it's a pre-show. They're gonna have the babyface go over. Let's
start the crowd off. Yeah.
And Man, the way they ordered these matches is funny. Okay, so I'll go from here. Anybody have any bold predictions about John Cena's opponent and what happens?
I think it's going to be Tyler Breeze, and he takes the U.S. title.
Very nice. I think that's possible, and I think Dean is possible too. Or they can just completely go off the page and do something like the New Day, all challenge him at the same time.
That's
Or
true.
Heath Slater finally gets his shot live on pay-per-view.
Well, if they do,
have you seen those? He keeps doing them every week, you know.
But I think if they do the New Day thing, I feel like it would have to come after New Day possibly lose the tag belts to the Dudleys. They'd be pissed, and then they'd all become U.S. champ at the same time or something like that.
That would also, like, I didn't know if they would freebird it or what. But
Clap
yes, them
for your new United States champions and feel the power.
Oh yeah, that could work too. Intercontinental title match. Excuse me for yawning. We got Owens against Ryback. Who do we got going over here?
Owens, Ryback. I got to go with Owens.
Owens, because it's just Ryback's rematch clause match.
Yep.
And then Owens will move on to something else.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they build up Owens versus Sami Zayn at Mania for the IC title.
Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be really nice. Yeah, I would be very okay with that. Anything that got Sami Zayn back in action, really. Poor guy. New Day versus the Dudleys.
The Dudleys are going to take this one.
It's a tables match, correct? Am I correct or am I not?
No, this just says tag team.
Oh, maybe it was rumored to be a tables match.
Right. Let me see here.
I'm going Dudleys.
They're gonna hold off on the tables match for another 2 months because December is TLC, so expect that.
That makes sense. Yeah. So I think Dudleys.
Yeah, you think you do Dudleys, you do one pay-per-view in between with them to set up the tables match because it's Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series TLC. So
yes.
For the unfortunately now Survivor Series is a fucking build-up pay-per-view for some people. Wonderful. Yeah, but I fully expect that. It sounds like the Dudleys. To me, what would make this awesome, and I know he's retired, and I know he probably doesn't want to do it anymore, but hear me out. Spike Dudley.
Hell yeah, I'd totally get on board with that.
Little what's-his-face over there, Austin Creed, is going to jump in the ring and try and interfere, and then Spike Dudley's going to come out and give him the acid drop, and then everybody's going to lose their minds, and that's how, that'll lead to the finish.
That would be insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People would shit.
It would be awesome.
I mean, people our age would. People who are, 12, 13 might not get it, but who cares?
But at the same time, they'd also be happy that the Dudleys won. So
right. Seth Rollins, Kane. If Kane loses, if this is so funny, if Demon Kane loses, Corporate Kane will be fired from being director of operations. They're not two different people. Why are they treating them like two different people?
I'm gonna go. Rollins wins, Sheamus cashes in.
Okay. Bold. Very bold.
and
Eric?
beautiful. I don't know. I think Rollins retains.
Rollins retains. Unfortunately, it is Hell in a Cell, so maybe we don't get a title change until Survivor. We might not get a fucking title change until WrestleMania. I don't know.
And I hate to say this, but I'm kind of bored with Rollins.
I've been sick of Rollins since he won the title. There was nowhere for him to go after he proved that all he could do against Brock Lesnar was backflip off of his belly and run away. Like, that's it. In my mind, there's no doubt that a Brock Lesnar Seth Rollins match goes very, very poorly for Seth Rollins 99 out of 100 times. And the one time is when he fucking puts a gun under the ring and realizes that's his only shot. So I like Seth Rollins, and I think he's a nice worker, whatever.
It just
He's
didn't
a
book
Nazi. It's just
that great.
it's not. It's not. It doesn't. It's not holding my interest the way that.
Yeah, I mean,
that
people
guy holding the
will
title
say, "Oh, it's just he's just being a good heel." I guess,
right?
but he's not like Flair was,
Right.
as that heel. Flair cheated because he could, not because he had to. That was the difference. But remember what Jesse Ventura used to say: "Win if you can,
win if you must, but always cheat." Yes, that is the saying. That is the one. So, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Seth retains. Where else? Unless the cash in happens, where do they go with Kane as champion? It just doesn't.
Yeah, I think the only way Kane wins is if he gets cashed in on right away.
That would make sense too. Like if
Sting had won last month, same deal.
Yeah, which I would have actually been somehow more okay with. I don't know. Did you hear about this? Let's talk about this for just a minute. In the new Sting documentary, Sting reveals that he believed WrestleMania was going to be his very last match, and he was going to retire after a match. He wanted to go out putting somebody over.
Yes,
so that's why he put Triple H over.
Well, that makes sense then.
And then they go and book him to put. Oh my God, they booked him. Yeah. If they never had him wrestle again, that's fine. But they brought him back, and then he lost 2 in a row, and now he's lost all his steam. And who wants to see a guy that's 0-2 against, the Undertaker who just hits people in the dick all the time? It's just I don't know. I would have if you're gonna. He wrestled Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. He didn't even have a fucking feud with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt had a feud with a video screen for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, he could have gave Bray Wyatt
carried that whole thing.
He did, and they could have gave him a nice little vacation. Tell him you can take March and April off. We're gonna bring in Sting. You do your shit another time. Go have a fucking margarita or something. Just chill out. Because all they had to do was say Sting Undertaker, and even if Sting lost, nobody would have given a shit.
Yeah, no, that's the match they should have done in the first place. I mean, you could always find Triple H something else to do, or
Right.
Bray Wyatt something else to do, but Sting Taker should have happened at Mania 31.
Agreed.
I agree wholeheartedly. Charlotte, Nikki, Charlotte. It has to be Charlotte. Because if it's not Charlotte, then that means that Nikki Bella's champion again. And
It's Charlotte, unless Paige cost Charlotte the title.
Yeah, that's also possible.
What do you think about this? Especially now that they might turn Sasha because she just gets cheered all the time. Why not maybe turn Charlotte heel at some point and then have the opposite of their NXT thing and have Sasha chase Charlotte for the title all the way to Mania or something like that?
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
But there's 2 things that are looming on the horizon after this match. Who does Nikki Bella do business with now that she's not going to be in contention anymore? And who does Charlotte get in contention with for her title? Obviously, there's always Paige to do something to
I was gonna say Paige is the one they can go back to easily.
But if you notice, Brie was actually the one that pinned Charlotte recently.
Yeah.
I guess they could possibly have her at least challenge. I don't think she's going to win, but I think they could have her as a possible challenger.
I like that somebody online said that Brie Bella takes the pin to cleanse Nikki of all of her sins, or something like that. like she took the pinfall on behalf of her sister. But that really does what it is. What it feels like though with her. It's like, okay, so Brie does something as a proxy or as a replacement for Nikki. It's like, oh, okay. Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt.
That's a toss-up for me, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, if it's the blow-off to the feud, I think Reigns is probably going over, even though Bray Wyatt needs wins and needs to look strong and
Reigns is going over.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, it's almost a damn certainty, unless again something drastic happens. Here's the one that nobody can call. I think At least I have a call, but I'm not 100% on it. Undertaker, Brock Lesnar.
I don't know how to call it. I don't see how Taker loses. I don't see how Brock loses.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't see how having a non-finish helps anybody.
We're stuck in the same boat as SummerSlam, I guess.
Yeah. Right?
I have no idea how this is going to play out. If I had an offer to place a bet, I wouldn't take the bet. I don't know.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if Brock is not fighting Austin at Mania, who do you think they have lined up? Because The Rock was like a rumored opponent, and that could be the only box office draw that could fight Brock.
Oh, Brock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's money at the very least.
It is money, but I don't know if The Rock's gonna come back for that.
He might have a conflicting movie schedule by then.
Right.
Anyway.
There's that, and there's also just the fact that he wrestled John Cena, who can't fucking wrestle, and he fucked himself up. He tore his, abdominals, and he got all blown up, and he was really, really winded. Do you want to come back and do that against a guy who is just as big as you, but can throw you clean over his head? I think his movie career might be worth more than that.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what happened, because after he got injured in the Cena match.
Yeah, that's when
Before that, they had this idea of setting up Rock Brock for Mania 31.
Yep.
And then Hollywood kind of got a little concerned.
Yeah, yeah.
Rightfully so, I think.
I agree.
But who else could Brock? I mean, they've never done Brock Randy Orton.
Huh. That's true. The other one, which we just said wasn't going to happen, was Stone Cold, which is the other money match, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So who's left? That's sort of,
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Cesaro. That's what everybody wants.
I would love to see it, but Vince will never let that happen.
I know. The internet is clamoring for Cesaro versus Brock Lesnar, the match that will never happen.
Samoa Joe. I wouldn't mind seeing Samoa Joe versus Brock.
That'd be
I like
insane.
that. I would definitely, because he could even say, like, he's the underground king. You know what I mean? He was the indie guy doing the same shit that Brock was doing.
Right.
But, he didn't have the same exposure that Brock did. That could be a hard-hitting fucking match. I'd like that. I dig it. Yeah, I have no clue. I would like Brock Lesnar to win because I feel like Brock Lesnar has more of a career left with WWE, and whoever loses here, they're saying it's their final match, blah, blah, blah. It's going to do damage to whoever loses. So you mitigate the damage by having a guy who's theoretically retiring in his home state of Texas in 4 months or 8 months or whatever it is.
I'm also hearing that Undertaker's not retiring, though.
But he should.
Well,
I mean, there's these rumors every single year.
And every year he looks worse and worse.
I mean, I thought the Hell in a Cell match against Taker against Triple H when he went 20-0 was going to be. I thought that was going to be it. Taker was going to retire clean.
20-0 would have been perfect.
20-0, and that's it. End of an era. I mean, they called it the end of an era match.
Yeah, and they all hugged on the stage and shit.
That was a great moment. And then,
as far as I was concerned, Triple H and The Undertaker both retired that night and then unretired afterward, and it was bullshit because that was the perfect point for both of them to stop wrestling.
I think you're right. Neither of them should have wrestled ever again after that.
No, because what did Triple H versus Brock Lesnar? Triple H versus Brock Lesnar did nothing for anybody. It was so Triple H could get his win back from Brock Lesnar because he never got to pin him back in the early 2000s. So he had to get his pin back 10 years later. It was all ego. It's bullshit. But I honestly think that would have been the perfect spot for both of those guys. Because Triple H could have still maintained his character and still been an authority figure. He just didn't need to wrestle anymore. And he was already working a limited schedule at that point. He could have just phased it all the way out. But anyway, we're heading up towards the end of the show here. I'll hand off to Eric, then I'll give it to Steve, and we'll everybody do their final thoughts, and we'll close out. So, Eric, go ahead, man.
Okay, I guess we'll do a Jerry Springer thing here.
Yes.
But Forbes magazine has been covering a lot of wrestling lately. If you know, if anybody noticed.
Yes. I
Oh,
have.
you know what? You know what? I just realized something we didn't bring up that we should have. The whole ESPN thing.
Oh, that they're doing the thing with
But then
WWE
they're
now.
covering,
And in 5 minutes,
They're-
Jonathan Coachman's going to interview John Cena on SportsCenter.
yeah.
It was at 8 or 8:30, whatever it is. They do once a week on Tuesdays. That's what WWE, ESPN is featuring WWE. And you're right. It is Rolling Stone, the AV Club from I forget who runs the AV Club, but the avclub.com or avclub.com rather. They do television reviews. They're big fans of NXT. Rolling Stone's interviewing Dean Ambrose and all kinds of guys and Brock Lesnar and shit. And Forbes is all over.
Well, Forbes just brought up the inconsistencies in the booking between Taker and Brock, where Taker was essentially brought back kind of, very heelish.
Right.
And now, like, last night, he's like the returning hero. So they're booking it a little odd. I can agree with that.
Because that whole finish bugged the shit out of me.
This finish from SummerSlam, yeah.
Yeah. The ball shot and that whole thing. I mean, I didn't think the match should have happened anyway, but I think that...
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. But, other than that, Tag Me Date is picking up more steam. We got some big events coming up. And stay tuned.
Yes, absolutely. And Steve?
Yeah, same. Take me a date. Sign up. It's free. Location searching is up. We got a ton of promotional things coming. We got Jasmine St. Clair. We're working with Noel Foley and Frank the Clown. We got a lot going on, and we got more to come. So stay tuned and check us out next Tuesday on the War Report.
Yeah.
What was that?
I forgot what I was going to say, but that's it.
All right. Well, we have come to the end of another edition of the War Report. Very briefly, I'll mention this. A lot of my friends worked for, and I worked for him once or twice, a promoter named Mikey Milano. This is the 5-year anniversary of his death. I know towards the end, I think he had like a stroke and was, in a coma or bedridden and wasn't really responsive for people, and a lot of them went to visit. I wasn't super close with them, we weren't like best friends. We knew each other from the business, so, he was one of the first guys, funny enough, that I called about maybe going to a wrestling school or trying to get into wrestling, and he was one of the first indie shows that I went to, and, I don't want to say that, the quality of the shows or the backstage stuff, that's all, when somebody dies, you don't really give a shit about that. It was indie wrestling. It is what, it was what it was. It was my first ever indie wrestling match, or my first ever indie wrestling show, and I saw Just Incredible get thrown through about a row of about 25 chairs and bust all the teeth out of his mouth. Legit. Like, teeth fell out of his mouth. So, he ran DPW, Defiant Pro Wrestling. It was dirty, it was hardcore, it was like post-ECW stuff, on a indie scale, on a local scale. He brought in big guys. He brought in Alpha Jr. He brought in, he even brought in guys like Ron and Kurt from Northeast Wrestling, even though, I know their relationship was never great with those guys, and there was drama and bullshit, and I know there were things that happened personally to me, not from Mikey, but from people in DPW, so I never really, we talked, but we never really had, I never had heat with him, but I never really had a time to be like, hey, that shit that happened didn't involve you, and I never really harbored any ill will towards Mikey Milano. He was a nice guy, and you always hate to hear when somebody goes out from something like, a stroke at 50-something. So, just it's a reason to think and remember the guy, and from everything I saw, Mikey wasn't a bad dude. He had a family that he cared for very much, and a wife that he left, and he left a lot of kids behind, and it's unfortunate when somebody goes like that. So I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't best friends with Mikey, but I wish his family well, and I just wanted, today's the day. So 5 years, it seems like it happened 2 months ago, not 5 years ago, because I still remember. People still tell stories about him. So that's my piece on Mikey Milano, and 5 years. That's unbelievable to me that somebody who, I mean, I only knew him for a handful of years myself, but it doesn't seem like it seems like you could walk into a local show and just see him sitting in the bleachers still. That's just the way it feels. But this has been another rousing edition of the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com. We are live every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Type Tag Me a Date, all one word, into your search bar on YouTube. You'll see the Tag Me a Date channel come up. You can see all of our shows. We have archive shows. We'll have the next show scheduled, all that good stuff. TagMeADate.com. Y'all should sign up. Here's a word from my buddy Hartzell.
All right, guys, the reviews are in, and TagMeADate.com is a huge success. Just don't take my word for it. Don't take people's reviews. Check it out for yourself. TagMeADate.com, our first ever online dating service for wrestling fans. Make wrestling night your date night.